Hi everyone, welcome to another crochet tutorial with me, Laura, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this washcloth, which has got a little hanging loop as well. So I recently shared this pattern on Instagram. There's my little Instagram link if you want to go check me out on there, Happy Bay Crochet. And it seems like a lot of you were quite excited for me to share this pattern. Now this pattern is actually a really old pattern that I never shared. Can you believe such a thing? And it utilises a really simple stitch, and we're just going to turn this stitch into a little washcloth and just add a little holding tassel at the end so you can hang up your washcloth. Now for this pattern I recommend getting yourself some cotton yarn. Now I've got an Aran worsted weight cotton yarn, so it's a little bit thicker than usual, so that's a yarn weight of about four. And this time I'm going to make one in white and orange, I think. And with that I'm going to be using a 4.5mm crochet hook. But you can use any crochet hook that you like that's suitable for the yarn you're using. If you use a thinner yarn you will end up with a smaller cloth, and if you use a thicker yarn you'll end up with a bigger washcloth. So just bear that in mind. So we're going to start off with the, I think we'll start off with the orange so you can see it better on camera. It's also a good idea to have a pair of scissors and a yarn tapestry needle as well, so that's one with a big eye at the end. Okay, so this pattern requires two colours, so you will have to use two colours to get this effect, otherwise it just won't show up as well if you use one colour. So what we're going to do first though is we're going to chain 51. Okay, so I'm going to do a little slip knot, slip knot, and we're going to chain 51. Okay, 51. So 1, 2, 3, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. Okay, so we've chained 51. If you prefer using the single crochet foundation stitch, then you can just crochet 50 instead of 51, but we're doing the chaining method for beginners. Okay, so we're going to do one single crochet in our second chain from our hook. So this pattern's in US terminology, but in UK terminology a single crochet is a double crochet. So the second chain from our hook, we never count the loop on our hook. There's our first chain, there's our second. So we're going to put our hook into there and do a single crochet. But then what we're going to do is we're going to chain one, and we're going to skip the next chain and do one single crochet in the next chain. Okay, so we're going to skip one chain, chain one, and do one single crochet in the next chain. Okay, and we're going to repeat that all the way across. So we're going to chain one, skip a chain, and do one single crochet in the next chain. And you're working to units of 2, okay? So if you don't want to chain 50, you find 50 too big or too small, just work to units of 2, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on and so forth, okay? And then we're going to chain one, skip one, one single crochet in the next chain. Do that again, chain one, skip one, one single crochet in the next chain, and just repeat that all the way across. Chain one, skip one, one single crochet in the next chain, chain one, skip one, one single crochet in the next chain, chain one, skip one, one single crochet in the next chain. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the last few stitches, chain one, skip one, one single crochet, and that should leave you with one chain left. And what we're actually just going to do is we're just going to do a little chain one, but we're going to go one single, we're not going to skip a stitch, we're just going to do one single crochet in that last chain. Okay, so it should look a little something like this. You should have a stitch count of, well, 51 still, but we're working to 50. What we're going to do now though is, you can see this pattern is made up with 2 rows in each colour. So this one we started with 2 rows of white, then 2 rows of blue to get this effect, which helps with carrying our yarn as well. What we're going to do now though is we're just going to do a little chain 1. Don't count that as a stitch, it's just a turning stitch, and we're going to turn our work. Then we're going to find that first chain 1 space. So that was our last single crochet. This is our chain 1 space. You want to find the gap underneath that chain 1 that you did, and finding that gap in there, we're going to do 1 single crochet. Okay, and then we're just going to repeat the same pattern. We're going to chain 1, we're going to skip that single crochet and find that next chain 1 space. This is our little chain 1 from the previous row, and underneath that should be a little bit of a gap. We'll put our hook into there, and in there we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, repeat that all the way across. So chain 1, skip the single crochet, and do 1 single crochet in the 1 chain space. And to do that all the way across. Chain 1, skip the single crochet, 1 single crochet wrapped around that chain 1, and do a single crochet. So it's the same, very similar to the last row. Let's repeat that all the way across. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the other end. Chain 1, find that last chain 1 space, and then we're going to do the same thing as what we did on the other row. We've got this single crochet, which is our last stitch here. We're just going to do a little chain 1, we're going to do a single crochet in that last single crochet. Okay, so you should end up with a stitch count of 51 again. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to join our white colour. Now we're back effectively at the beginning. So I'm going to bring in my white colour, and hopefully it stands out enough on this background. I've had to change rooms because it's really, really hot in the other room where I normally do my videos. So hopefully my fan next to me is not too loud either. But without it, I wouldn't be able to do this video. It's so hot. So what we're going to do is going to get our next colour. I'm just going to hold it with my finger, and I'm going to bring that through into that chain 1, the turning chain 1. So just bring that through the loop on your hook, do a little chain 1, and again don't count that as a stitch. Turn your work. We're going to skip that single crochet, find that first 1 chain space, which is there. And we're going to do the same thing again, do a single crochet. Okay, let's pull that tail end a bit. And then just carry on across. We do a chain 1, skip the single crochet, and find that 1 chain space, that gap underneath that chain 1, and just wrapping it around the chain, do a single crochet, and repeat that all the way across. Chain 1, skip 1, 1 single crochet. And this on this colour, changing colours when you start to see the pattern come together. You can alternate on every row, but it'll end up with lots of tail ends, which will drive you mad. So doing it on every 2 rows will just mean you've got less tail ends to sew in at the end. So just chain 1, skip the single crochet, and 1 single crochet in the 1 chain space. So again, just coming up to the end, chain 1, skip, find that last 1 chain space, and we still need to do a little chain 1, but we're going to do our last single crochet in that last single crochet, so not in a chain 1 space, just into the stitch as normal. And then we head back in the opposite direction, so we do a little chain 1, turn, skip that first single crochet, find that 1 chain space, do 1 single crochet into there, and carry on with the same pattern. So we just chain one, skip the single crochet and do 1 single crochet and the 1 chain space. And just do that all the way across. Okay, so just coming up to the other end, chain 1, skip 1, 1 single crochet and the 1 chain space, and then we've got 1 stitch left, so we still do our little chain 1, we do 1 single crochet in that last single crochet rather than a chain space. And now we're back at the beginning again. It's back to this side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rejoin our orange, so don't cut your yarns at the end. We're just going to bring the orange up instead, and we're going to introduce it in the chain 1, the turning chain 1. So just bring that through the loop. Don't put it too tight because you don't want to distort the end of your washcloth. Just going to pull the white and just pull that gently, just so it fits nice and perfectly, so you don't want it distorting or being too baggy. Just want it nice and neat. So I'll show it on this one with all the colour changes. Here you can see all the colour changes are brought up the edge, so it really doesn't detract from the pattern and just means you've got no tail ends to tie in, which is good. You can always do a border if you want to, but I'm lazy, I don't have time for that. So make that nice and neat. Then we're going to turn our work and just do the exact same thing again. We're going to skip the first single crochet, find that 1 chain space, which is the next stitch along, and go straight into there, a bit neater than that. Chain 1, where is this chain 1 space? I think we've got it there, and in there do 1 single crochet and just repeat the same pattern again. So chain 1, skip the single crochet, 1 single crochet in the 1 chain space, and you can start seeing the pattern come together. So just repeat this over and over and over. So I'm going to put that down now. Just repeat that over and over until you've got a squared washcloth. So just changing the colour on every 2 rows, doing the exact same thing for every row. So I've done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50. So I've done 50 rows in total, but just keep repeating it until you've got a squared washcloth. Okay, so I've got 50 rows in total. So I shall do that, and then I shall come back and we'll have a look at the finished washcloth. Okay, so I'm going to do that. It looks like I'm going to be doing that for another 46 rows. So it might take some time. So join me in what will be just a few seconds, magic of YouTube, and we'll have a look at where we are next. Whereas in reality, I'm probably going to be doing this over a couple of evenings, doing my next few rows. Okay, so you really start seeing that pattern come together. Okay. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the very last row. I'm going to have to make this the last row because I've actually run out of orange, unfortunately. So I'm just coming up to the last 1 chain space, and I'll just do the chain 1 and 1 single crochet in that last stitch. Okay, so I've actually done 48 rows. If I zoom out, you can have a, there we go, if I just lift up the camera. So I've done 48 rows in total. I would have liked to have done 50 with another orange, but annoyingly I ran out of yarn. It's so frustrating. I should have started with the white, then I would have had enough for the orange, but never mind. What I'm going to do now though is I'll probably use the orange to do my little loop at the end. So we're just going to add a little tassel loop just to hold it. That's not what tassel is, it's a loop, just a loop to hang it up if we want to. So to do that, let's put the camera back down and refocus. Okay, so to do that, all I'm going to do is drop the white. I'm actually going to, let's finish with the white. Let's get rid of the white. So what I'm going to do is just bring up the orange and join that in a little chain one, just like we've been doing for all the other joins along here. And then I'm just going to chain, how many am I going to chain? How many did I chain for this one? So I chained 14 for that one, it looks like. So let's chain 14 and see what that looks like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. Okay, so chained 14, and all you need to do is just check that you're happy with the size of the loop. So I'm quite happy with the size of that loop, that's fine. So when you've got the length that you want, what we're going to do is we're just going to slip stitch into that last single crochet that we did. So this single crochet here, I'm just going to turn it around first though. So I've chained 14 and I'm facing the other way as if I was doing a new row. I'm just going to find that first single crochet and I'm going to slip stitch into there. Okay, so once you've done your slip stitch, what we're going to do is just going to turn our work again, facing the other direction. And in this 14 chain space, we're just going to work some single crochet. We'll do 14 to begin with. So we're just going to put our hook in this big loop, then just wrapping it around the chains. We're going to do a single crochet. We'll do 14 of those, see if they fit first. 1, 2, just make sure they're nice and neat. So you're just wrapping it around the chains. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So I've got 14 stitches. There's a little bit of a gap left, so I'm just going to do an extra one. I'm going to do 15 just to fill in that space. There we go. Then I'm going to slip stitch into this single crochet, this last single crochet again. So I put my hook back into there and just do a slip stitch to join. Okay, and there we have our little loop, which looks nice. Then we're going to cut our yarn. So I'm going to get the scissors, let's pull that through, and then just going to hide these tail ends as neatly as you can. Put that on. Just going to go back, let's bring up the camera. So just bring that through, turn it over, and I'm going to sew down to similar colours to the orange. Okay, so it's nice and neat. And then working into similar colours, I'm just going to sew over so it's nice and secure, and go back in the opposite direction. So that's nice, secure. Then cutting it down the excess. And there we go. And I'm going to hide the other tail end. All these tail ends, because we've carried the yarn, we don't have any tail ends to worry about there. You may choose to do a border if you want to. I actually quite like it like this. It's only a washcloth, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'll hide these other two tail ends, and then I think we're done. I'll show you the finished washcloth. And there we go, there is a finished washcloth. If I can zoom out, so we've got our little tassel. It's not a tassel, it's a loop. Why do I keep calling it a tassel? Got our little loop at the end, so we can hang up our washcloth to dry. And then this should fold nicely into a square, and it can go with our other washcloth. So there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Hope it's inspired you to give it a go. These make wonderful gifts, especially if you're done in baby colours, make nice extra baby gifts. And there we go. You could package those up and sell them, and you are free to sell any of my crochet designs. A lot of you ask, it does say in my FAQs that you can sell the items that you make from any of my patterns, which is always good. A big thumbs up for that. And like I said in my last video, I've got a marketplace coming soon to my website, something new and exciting, where you guys who do make the things, do crochet the items and want to sell them, that you can actually come on board with Happy Berry and sell them through the website. So check that out at happyberry.co.uk/marketplace and see if that's something that would be of interest to you. But until then, I will see you soon for some more crochet crafty fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.